Good morning. Hey, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilka. I'm an empath, and I just like doing these little talks on how I feel about things. Been wanted to say good morning to you. Good morning to you from Benzo. Been with us Cohen. Always out coming saying hi to you. Big yawns for me. Forecast good mood and Marty not crabby today. Thank you. Loving you, Biano. So, slept pretty good last night. Feel pretty good today. I was just having to talk with Mom. You got Tuck over here snoozing too. You got him sneeze fit. My little pig dog. I love him so much. They all came from 4 different states. In case you're new and don't know the backstory with my critters, I got 4. They're from 4 different states. Benny's from Trainer, Iowa. Farmhouse got abandoned. People dumped him off and never came back. Tucker's from Puppy Mill, Missouri. Breeders suck. Ain't no argument. Ain't no such thing as a credible breeder. It's mad science for greed. I've unfriended people for buying dogs from breeders. It's because if you know me, you know I freaking hate them. And it's like, if you know me, I just think it's disrespectful. So many things are disrespectful. I do things. I change my behaviors because, people don't like it. It's called a boundary, And I was a little late to the boundary show because, well, my childhood, some of us didn't have all the freaking love and light and, great stuff. So our frames of references are a little bit crooked and splintered and, patched, missing chunks. So Mom and I I was just thinking this morning, I said, Mom, it ain't easy being Hilka because you're freaking, I'm all about balance, and I see the imbalance in everything when things are too good and too bad, or vibe too high or vibe too low. It's imbalance, and it can create a dissonance in anyone and anything, and so and it's all fluctuation, it's just like, what are people doing to keep their fields clear, are people actually, because it's just not will balance, whoever that is holding all the whatever is holding all the planets in alignment, please keep me balanced. No, that doesn't do it. You gotta meditate, you gotta eat right, because your body's your temple, and it doesn't like toxins and poisons. You gotta freaking get out in nature, you gotta work for other people, you gotta work for yourself, you gotta be physical, there's all this stuff you gotta do constantly. You gotta not be a jerk, you gotta not, not be in a bad mood, you gotta, it's a constant, never-ending effort, this human experience that our spirits are having. It's a constant, so I was just like, but like, hey, okay, I'm always seeing the imbalance and calling it out, and like, for example, I was telling her a story about back when I lived in Omaha. I lived downtown in a landmark building right downtown, so I got the lunch hour, so I can walk around downtown, because what keeps people like me away from like that is freaking, anytime, it motivates me is parking. Like, parking, I'm one of those, I will leave the concert, I don't care about encores, I'll skip them just to get out of parking, I'll ditch out of any show or a little bit earlier so I can ditch out of parking, and I always strategically plan where I park for a quick exit and all that jazz, I was like born an old man with these like old man ideologies, strategy, reconnaissance, being prepared, kind of stuff like that, and so I walked around to this juice stop. They had every now and again I treat myself to a juice smoothie, and I walked in and there's like freaking, people are there's a right in front of the juice stop. There is a freaking fire truck. Now the fire department in Omaha is just a few blocks away, so a couple guys could have walked over, and carried 8 drinks back for the 8-9 guys, a few drink trays, carrying them back for everybody else. No, they had to double park and make a big old production about it, because that's what these egoic freaking people do. Now this is what's funny, is because now I can tell a story, right, and this is my perception, and then people pick up on this, and then people get offended. People like to pick up offense. They like to just wait and listen to people and be like, nope, that offends me, nope, that makes me mad, nope, we're not, nope, I hate that. And think about what the world would be if people would just open themselves up to new ideas, not picking them up and making them their own and taking them on, making them part of their personality, but just considering that and wearing that idea for a moment. Think about what the world would be. But people are like, nope, I don't agree with that, so it doesn't exist. And then there's this whole part of the world that exists, right? It's so weird. So these they park, and I go inside, and so I'm waiting for, I got my headphones on, and I'm waiting for this lady to make this young girl to make her 9 fruit juices, and it takes time, right? And she was by herself. I mean, and it was I was coming, and because I always staggered my lunch, I always went in the off time because I don't like rushes. So I would let my coworker go from 12 to 1, and I go from 1 to 2, avoid all the rushes. And then so finally they freaking get all their juice and they leave, and I was like, and I always tip her $1 at least, it's $5, $6 for a juice, and that's 8, 9 guys. That's like, I'm like, did anybody tip you? Now these guys make $90,000, $80,000 a year, and their overheads are covered because all they're doing is giving their money, and because they're always at the firehouse, and when they're freaking at the firehouse, we are paying for all their freaking, their little challenges that they lay all their gear out, and look at us, and we're first responders, and I'm like, you people don't understand. I worked with these guys in the military and stuff. And a lot of them freaking, like, think about, people get all, oh, they're first responders, they save lives. Think about how many actual firemen that have been firemen. Yeah, a lot of them have saved lives, but think about how many haven't, and they still get all the benefits because other people have, right? And 9 of those guys make $80,000, $90,000 a year, and not one of them even thought to put $5 because that's their ego. They deserve it. They're so used to people giving things to them that they don't even give back anymore at this point. They just have the expectation, And they were all, and thank God that these entities. I mean, what would our fire departments and our first responders be if there had to be weight standards like I had to go through in the military? I had my rake, my ordeal for weight management program as a female in the Air Force at Offutt in 2000. It was a nightmare to have freaking old fat dudes tell me that I needed to go to the gym because I was like, 4 pounds, 5 pounds overweight, and they're like 10, 15, But, and what they do is they do that, because their egos are out of balance. So they tell people what to do and where to go and what to do. And then it's just like they're so much in their masculine that they've forgotten their sensitive sides. They're feminine, they're out of balance, and then parts stop working, and then before you know it, the military is spending $11 million on male enhancement drugs because they're out of balance. And men that don't act like men with their feminine side too, you ain't a whole person. Just like women that aren't, into their masculine, that are too womany, too much, too sweet stuff. They can be freaking cunning, manipulative, freaking wicked, just as much as the dudes. It's just in balance. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with sex. It has nothing to do with sexual orientation. It just has to do with the person's balance. It's more psychology than anything. And it's all so easy to recognize. But see, and the thing is I speak on these, I look at like, look at these 8 guys, they make all this money, and this one girl put on, and then the energy was not, it didn't balance out what she did for them, her minimum wage, it wasn't fair. That's what tips are supposed to do, is to compensate the lack of balance. And they had the opportunity, every single one of those guys did, and not one of them take. Because I asked her, I'm like, did anybody, I was there, I'm like, did anybody tip you? And she's like, no, they never do. And of course they don't, right? So if people don't care about money that much, how come so many people tell themselves that they get so much and other groups don't? But it's alright. This is what's all that's changing. This is all the stuff that's dying with the old paradigm like that. Look at all the freaking old dudes that have like 90, 100 years old that have run this world. Like the Hilton dude, 91. Good riddance. All those old ideas are dying with them, Because look at how many all these rich, and you can't just tell people to go out and get a job, because the people that are telling people to go out and get their jobs are freaking billionaire freaking that inherited all their stuff, that have never worked. So you're telling people to do things that you yourself are not and have not ever been willing to do. And that is the stuff that I laugh at. That's the stuff where I'm like, this is the world that you guys get, because, every now and again I peek in and I look at the news and I'm like, is the world, I was like peeking around the corner, is the world worth living in yet? And I see the headlines, with the freaking Biden and the Ukraine, and it's just more junk. It's just more rich egos feeding their own egos to play these storylines that aren't even real, dude, but it's real to them. It's their frame of reference. So, hang out, me and Mom hang out, have some good chats, drink some coffee. Today we got today I got the cinnamon vanilla cream coffee. Man, this stuff is awful, but you gotta enjoy yourself while you're having this human experience. Right? So, anyway, that's about all I got for now. Hope you all have a rad day. Peace.